Welcome to another edition of the Smart Office podcast. I am your host, Hippolyte Asa, and I'm an AI implementation engineer helping small businesses use practical AI systems to improve operations like client experience and growth. Today, I'm excited to welcome David Rahn, Vice President of Account Services at Rahn Asuit. David is a seasoned insurance broker with deep experience in risk management, specialty insurance, and highly regulated industries. Rahn Asuit provides bespoke insurance and risk management solutions for businesses facing complex risks across maritime, cruise, commercial, marine, crew benefits, and other emerging or regulated sectors. David, welcome to the Smart Office podcast.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thank you, Dave. For those meeting you for the first time, and to our listeners, can you introduce yourself and tell us what Rahn Asuit does?
Yeah. So, hi, my name is David Rahn. I am Vice President of Account Services at Rahn Associates. We are a bespoke risk insurance brokerage that specializes in various niche industries across a wide range of industries. Everything from emerging healthcare to marine crew benefits to
Right.
third-party liability on marine vessels and everything in between. I've worked years primarily in brokerage, but with the past 2 years, I'm starting to become what's called a master general agent
Right.
for a marine benefits program here in the United States.
Nice, nice. I was on your website. I saw there's a lot that you do, like what you guys do there. And I did a little research, and it looks like you are a third generation professional in insurance industry. Are you and Eric, are you related?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I work with my father, Eric
Okay.
Rohn.
Okay. Nice.
And then, yeah, so I am the third generation, in the Ron family, working
Okay.
father and son. My father worked with his father,
Okay.
in a bunch of different various industries, and now the torch has been bared upon to me.
Wow, that's good.
So now my father and I are partners,
Okay.
just looking to specialize in covering, various risks.
Wow, that's good. So how did that background shape the way you see risk, relationships, client service? How did that work?
Yeah, so it's it's very close. It's very tight and intimate with us. We share an office. Our
Hmm.
desks are right next to each other. So the
Okay.
communication is always dynamic. It's always flowing. So
Right.
we're always bouncing ideas off of each other in how to service our respective clients.
Wow, that's cool. So Rand and Asset works with highly regulated and complex industries, right? So what type of clients do you and your team typically serve?
Just like you said from our website, in highly regulated industries,
Right.
emerging healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
regulated by, Food and Drug Administration,
Mm-hmm.
Department of Health, various
Right.
Department of Health, and then the marine industry, whether it be, Department of Transportation,
Right.
whether it be the Maritime Labor Convention,
Mm-hmm.
everything in between that has to do with onshore and offshore risks in that regard as well. So they're all regulated by some sort of government authority in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually require either special limits or special policies that the normal pedestrian insurance broker doesn't usually come across
Right.
or doesn't know where to find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. There are very few of those, right? Specialty industry. Now, given your experience in specialty insurance and risk management, what is one client story, professional win, or complex placement that stands out? That stands.
One of the more complex risks usually has to do with on water activities.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Usually that happen within, here's a great example. Healthcare professionals are becoming more prevalent in cruise ships for spa services, more specialized spa services,
Okay.
whether it be like something that's a little bit more advanced and
Hmm.
intrusive, like um, acupuncture or
Right.
acupressure, um, laser electrolysis,
Hmm.
that require special equipment,
Yeah.
while on board, while overseas, that requires a licensed medical professional to either operate or administer the therapy
Mhm.
that's going on in the
Mhm.
spa. And so we're able to provide the onboard liability and then
Right.
also for offshore, and then also if they need it, their onshore professional liability as well.
That's very complex there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of complexities with that,
Right.
especially from the marine industry. From the
Mhm.
emerging healthcare industry, that definitely gets a lot more complicated and a lot more intricate, because I deal in both the regulated cannabis and psychedelic industries here in the United States.
Mhm.
I sell errors and admissions
Right.
insurance to facilitators, whether they
Right.
work in ketamine clinics or whether they're doing retreats or they have a clinic of their own where they're providing the therapies and the psychedelic trips as needed in their legal states.
So in such a situation, this is very complex. What does the right insurance mean? Like how does it mean to get the right insurance for the
It means
right?
to get the right insurance that is number one, you're confident in that your business will be safe from,
Yeah.
risks that you are exposed to, whether it be from
Right.
your revenue or from your footprint.
Right.
Having that insurance and then having that peace of mind
Right.
to sleep easy at night, knowing that you're protected from these risks
Right.
is one part of it. Another part of it is making sure that you're properly covered
Mhm.
in the event that if these risks do happen, that you do have the proper coverage and you're not necessarily in the path of, let's say, a misguided arrow, or you're named insured on a claim, but not necessarily directly involved in the claim. There's
Right.
also different inconsistencies that will happen within the claims process that are very, buried deep within your policy, is also having the understanding of knowing when the answers to all of your questions of how your policy works is knowing that you have the right insurance as well. Is that knowledge as well?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you're working a very specialty, call it bespoke, complex insurance. But in hindsight, what is one of the biggest lessons you've learned about helping companies manage such complex risk?
I learned that every business is different
Yeah,
and that there's different insurances for different
right.
businesses at different types. Um, there's not everyone fits into a box, into the same
Box.
box,
Right.
is what I've learned.
So what in your experience, what do business owners do? What do they often underestimate about this complex risk or this risk? Some level of underestimation involved?
I'm
Because
sorry.
if I'm going to start a complex business like a spa, I would not even know that maybe I need
Yeah.
some kind of.
No,
So how do you
no.
how do you reach out to them to know? Well, you don't get normal.
Well, that's a fabulous question. So I usually work a lot closely with the senior officers of their companies.
Yeah,
In a lot of situations, I get a lot of referrals from lawyers, whether
oh,
they be
I see.
representing the clients in emerging healthcare, or these are maritime lawyers
Right.
looking for insurance coverage placements for their clients. I get a lot of legal referrals.
Okay.
So, professional referrals from accountants, because I
Right.
work with a lot of CFOs for directors and officers and management liability insurance. And there's usually a very deep dive into the books
Right.
when those exposures are being calculated. So there's a lot of people who I really reach out to who are really the key decision makers
Hmm.
into really knowing when it's good to get the insurance.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yes.
So, what do companies, right? What should companies in such professions or regulated industry do before they even start shopping for insurance? Like, I'm just starting this. I don't know if I did a complex insurance. So, what do they do? Reach out to their regulators, lawyers, or
Yeah, I would
accountants?
reach out
What?
to your lawyer,
Okay.
especially whether
So,
it either comes to maritime law or
right,
their respective laws in their states regarding cannabis or psychedelics. I would always get
right.
legal counsel and legal advice because they're the ones who are really the vanguards within these regulated industries because they
Mhm.
have to deal with the regulators.
That makes sense. Okay. So, what separates a true risk advisor, like someone like from someone who is simply selling an insurance policy? Like, you know, you are in that risk factor complexity. So what separates you from the others?
What separates me from the others is that I work in a lot of niche industries. Your I'm not really your friendly neighborhood State Farm or Allstate
Yeah,
my business is based off of quality and not necessarily quantity or volume. That's
I see.
that's where my focus is.
Okay. So, but it seems like you've worked on both the broker and career sides of the industry, right? Given
Yes.
your experience, looks like you've had that experience. So, how has that helped you understand what underwriters they need to see before they get comfortable with a difficult risk? Like, what do you do?
I've learned that they really need to do their homework. I
Okay.
understand that a lot of these business owners have a lot of entrepreneurial spirit, and
Right.
that is amazing, especially driving the growth and the success of your business.
Right.
But on the other hand, use that entrepreneurial spirit to educate yourself about all of the risks that happen within your industry or within your business, whether they're indirect risks or direct risks.
Hmm.
They should be focused on. They should have some knowledge behind them. They should have some meaning behind them. That's what really can separate you from a business owner from a great business owner is your knowledge.
That's good to know. When we talk about Rahn and Associates, right? They serve industries where traditional insurance may not always fit.
Mhm.
For that, from what I see on the research, you guys are in a niche. What makes these industries harder to insure? Like people are like, but why? Why is it? What makes them?
Well, for the industries that I work in, one is the international maritime industry. So
Right,
that is one of the world's oldest
right.
regulated industries. That definitely carries a lot of provenance and a lot of knowledge and a lot of purpose. I say when you want to get into an insurance in an industry that you're passionate about. Um, if you like the water and you like going on boats,
Yeah.
try to get marine brokerage. If you're looking, to expand the wellness and the health and the vitality and longevity of the future population, get into that. But you really need to not only educate yourself,
Hmm.
diversify,
Right.
because the world is constantly changing, no matter how you see it, and adapt. Like any businessman or woman
Correct.
today, you'll need to learn to be adaptable.
Right. Correct. So, if I may expand on that, sometimes the challenge of insuring some of these complex industries is it like the operational complexity? Is it the lack of? I know you've talked about maritime is one of the oldest
Yeah.
industries, but the complexity in these is it like the claims history? What makes it
So
complex, or is
yeah,
it the nature of
claims so
exposures?
you bring up a great point. Claims history is definitely a lot about it because your previous claims exposure and your payment history on these claims or on these premiums is very reflective on of if an insurance company wants to cover your risk. There has to be a lot of different complexities explored. There's a lot of different data points that underwriters like to explore when observing these exposures because the more data that they have, they use it to their advantage
Mhm.
in processing a clear coverage, not only a clear, comprehensive, and transparent coverage plan in most cases,
Makes sense.
it's used, and then also provide an accurate premium that reflects it.
Right. Right. Wow, that's good. I know we've talked about maritime insurance, and that's one of the areas to be specializes. But maritime and crew-related coverage appear to be the important areas for Run and Asuit.
Mhm.
So, what makes maritime risk unique compared to other industries?
Well, they happen on water. Thing
Right.
that water, it can also happen on international water. So
Right.
water that really has no claim to any country. So then it boils down to the ship owner and where the ship is based out of and the laws governing where that ship is based out of and how they operate and how they
Okay.
conform to the maritime labor conventions and other seafaring laws and regulations. So there's a lot of
Right.
complexities behind that. Um, there's a lot of complexities behind. I deal a lot with crews, so crew
Hmm.
nationality,
Exactly.
dealing with repatriation and
Oh,
injury claims. I mean, look at what's going on in the Middle East with the Strait of Hormuz.
exactly.
That's one of the
Yeah.
is currently becoming the
Yeah.
biggest maritime risks in history. Yeah.
Exactly. So for C-suite executives and founders in regulated industries, right? So what coverages or risk areas are often overlooked? Like, are there any like which areas
What
do they
I see
overlook?
that is often overlooked, I mean, I do a pretty comprehensive audit when I meet my clients as to going down a whole laundry list of where they are and, is their corporate structure
Right.
viable enough and meets the criteria that they should start
Hmm.
exploring directors and officers insurance. Their employee base so large that they
Hmm.
need to look at employer practices liability in addition to workers'
Right.
comp insurance. How deep and comprehensive should their cyber policy be, depending on how much data that they're putting on their servers or on the internet or traveling through the cloud?
That makes sense. Uh, wow. Well, I want to ask you this question here. Given the complex problems you've solved, right, for many years, given your experience, you've had generation of experience, and you've solved so many of these complex issues, and in this specialty markets, the way I'll call it, and with Rahn Asuit serves, what are you really focused on improving right now in the business?
In my business personally, is I've really made it a very just from just more of a, local and micro standpoint, one thing to be cognizant of is we're becoming more and more paperless every single day. Insurance used to be a very paper heavy industry. Policies used to be pages and pages and pages long. Now everything's a PDF file. Waiting on signatures. Technology is, expired that I can get a signature from halfway around the world the same day.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are improving with the technology. Insurance, being that it is also a very antiquated industry, it is still trying to play keeping up with, AI and all of the technology and trying to make businesses better.
So, what made you start paying more attention to that?
I like technology. I like emerging technology. I want to see what I can do
Okay.
to help my customers have better businesses and have safer businesses and have
Right.
businesses that can be covered.
So I would say that is more about maybe growth,
Yeah.
client education, marketing, all those operational efficiency, maybe in that area. So I feel like like maybe getting to the point where you start doing underwriting solutions and things like that with so I start scaling. Maybe all that ballpark, I'm not sure, but somewhere along the line there may be areas that you really focus on, and every business is different,
Yeah, every business is.
right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk. What would success like? I know when somebody looks at Run and Assist, is like this is a successful business. It's been there for generations. But given you being in your own league of generation where things are being handed over to you,
You cut out there.
I know everybody you want to build on something. You want to build, there's a foundation you want to build. So what would success look like for you in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, success for me
Or
in
if
the
I may
next 6 to
rephrase,
12
if there is
months
one
is
bottleneck in the business this year, right?
yeah, I mean, for one thing, I'd like the world to change, but everybody wants that. Or everybody wants a ever-changing
Right.
world. It's truly making sure that it's a really tough question, that there really is a hope for the future at the end of the day, especially for all business leaders. I mean, everybody wants to grow. My growth
Right.
is based on covering people's risks. And I hope that
Right.
the economy changes so that there's more risks to cover. The only thing
Let me
that's growing faster than business is the risk.
risk, okay. Which is something you want to reduce. Now, if I may rephrase, like if you could solve one bottleneck in the business this year, let's say you want to solve a bottleneck,
In this
what would it
year,
be?
quoting, I wish
Sorry?
the quoting and underwriting windows just
Okay.
get to a more instantaneous for all industries altogether.
I see. I see. Okay. That would be like when you do a quote, how does that work in insurance? Like, okay. Wait, Can you expand on that a little bit for our listeners to understand what you mean by quoting?
Yeah. So quoting, when a customer comes to me and wants to get quoted for their insurance, they're asking for an insurance quote. I take the necessary information
I see.
based on their business
I see.
exposures. I supply them to the underwriter, and the underwriter takes anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to find me a market that they can quote a premium for.
I see. I see. So it takes about 3
Yeah.
days just to get back to the turnaround time to get back to the customer can be probably. I see what you see. So let's talk about technology. I know you love technology, the future of specialty insurance. Let's see how that may impact. I know you have a background in digital marketing, if I'm not mistaken, before moving into insurance. So this is a natural section for us to talk about, right? So before insurance, you had experience in digital marketing, technology, and you love it. How has that shaped the way you think about client communication and business growth today?
I mean, the world operates in the digital space more than it does in the tertiary space, at any given moment,
Right.
at any given time. So knowing that you have the ability to connect with clients through that sort of technology is something that's
Mhm.
amazing. That's something that I want to make sure that I have a connection to at any given point in time.
Yeah, makes sense. So, where do you see technology like helping specialty insurance brokers the most? Like, given your experience, where do you see, like, we talk about AI and
Yeah,
all these
AI
things
could
coming
help a
aboard with?
lot with the underwriting and the filing and
Okay,
the premium calculation, but it's not going to sell
I see.
you insurance.
Right,
You still need people for that.
of course.
It's difficult to say what AI is going to do, if it's going to be great, if it's not going to be great.
Right,
I have, really high hopes for AI and how it's going to help insurance, because maybe it will be more transparent in the claims process,
right.
so to speak, especially in health insurance. Hopefully, there be some more rationality with AI that's not necessarily programmed to protect just the insurance company's interests, but also
Exactly.
make good on their claims to provide coverage for their clients.
That makes sense. So, in a nutshell, I think it's going to help strong brokers become more efficient, like the industry, more valuable to clients, right?
Mhm.
So what parts of broker relationship or broker client relationship should always remain human? What do you think? Like which core part do you think should always, no matter the technology, remain human?
The face-to-face interaction that you have with your client, especially
Right.
what I'm doing with you right now. I mean, just having
I
that
see.
sort of
That makes sense.
conversation. Yeah, having some sort of dynamic communication between,
Right.
the broker and their client.
That's going to take some time to go away for sure. But if you could remove, let's say it. We're talking about technology and technology is coming to help brokers, to help advisors or the agency. If you could remove one repetitive task from your team's weekly workload, what would it be? Something that I feel like
Yeah, I mean,
it's a
underwriting.
manual, it's
Underwriting, filling
repetitive.
out applications, just gathering all the information from the client. That would be it.
How does that show? How does that task show up on a day-to-day basis? How does it show up? How do you gather the
Usually when I'm dealing
information?
with clients, trying to obtain information so I can get quotes for them.
I'm sorry.
When I'm trying to
I'm
speak with
sorry. So
clients,
I missed that.
when
I see.
yeah, when I'm speaking with clients and trying to get the accurate information for them so I can make sure that I can get them the right coverage.
Makes sense. How much time does that take away from high value advisory work that you're doing? Like you get it's complex things, but that manual task that is mundane takes
It's mundane, but it's necessary.
right.
It can take anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour.
Right, I see. And that can add up in a week, right?
Yep.
Adds up yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, for a founder, executive, or company operating in regulated industry, what first steps should they take to better understand their risk? You've been there. Any advice to them? A lot of them are going to be listening to you.
Talk with an insurance professional, talk with your legal counsel, and make sure you're educated.
Makes sense. What type of clients is there is great fit for you guys? Like Rahn Asuit, what type of clients? Is this only
Yeah,
maritime? What type?
crew management companies,
Okay,
C-suite executives at cannabis
right,
companies, and C-suite executives at psychedelic companies and their
right.
respective lawyers.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, where can people learn more about you
Sure.
specifically and connect with you, Rahn Asuit? Like, where are you? Like, how can they connect? Like, they will be
Yeah,
listening. Some people are going to search
they
this.
can visit my website and schedule some time to talk with me. It's right there on my
Okay.
website in the top right corner.
So they go to, I think,
www.ron-associates.com,
all right.
and there should be a button to schedule a consultation.
Perfect. So you guys here all, I mean, Rahn is here, his generation, I mean, got it complex, and it's why people are interested in getting to these complex niches. And sometimes it's not easy to get in, but there are people here who can really schedule a call, talk to somebody and see what they can do. What legacy do you want Rahn and Asuit to build in the specialty insurance and risk management space?
I want to be an industry known name that is well regarded and depended on.
Now, what areas do you cover? Let's say, I will say maritime, I know it's broad, but office, do you have around the whole
Yeah,
world?
so we primarily deal with the cruise industry and the yachting industry.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. That's good. Well, David, thank you for joining me on the Smart Office podcast. I really appreciate the insight you shared on complex risk, specialty insurance, and the importance of helping companies protect what they are building. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.